Hi, welcome back to my channel.
So basically in today's video I wanted to talk about, is having a boyfriend embarrassing nowadays? A new article came out and I'm just gonna get right into it. But first, hi, I'm Alicia, i.e. Alicia J, the walking talking baby doll, and hopefully I'm here to give you a good day or a better day. Okay. So while watching this, please comment anything that sticks out to you in this video. Thanks. I'm going to put down what I think about it, and I want you to comment and tell me, do you think having a boyfriend nowadays is embarrassing? Why do you think it's embarrassing? Or what is your initial thought before you even watch this video? And if you want to skip to the part where it's just the videos, you'll do that timestamp. And so basically from my notes, I'm going to go over some points that I thought were actually like intriguing to me, or that pulled me in more. And a lot of it is nothing new. I mean, we kind of talk about these things mostly within the women-centered space anyways, but it's kind of nice to see how this article made a very strong argument, and it took different experiences. And I mean, it was only like a couple of paragraphs. It's a very short read, but I mean, all the different angles and arguments that it brought all together to say, is having a boyfriend embarrassing, or the evidence of that. And I think that it's actually not having a boyfriend that's embarrassing. I kind of feel like that title was strategic in maybe not being too controversial and bringing on the wrong demographic, like trolling men and stuff like that, to ruin this author's career. This is British Vogue, by the way. But I feel like it's pick-me behavior and male-centered behavior is embarrassing. And I think she couldn't outright just say that title, so that's why the rhetorical question rather, or the question, is having a boyfriend embarrassing nowadays? And the author even went as far as to say, like, when she sees a certain creator of hers that, when she sees a certain creator that's a favorite of hers get into a relationship, she actually kind of like, she mutes that person, which is taking it a step further. And if you mute a person, I mean, you're not watching, engaging with their content. I mean, I guess it might be a little bit better than somebody who can still watch and view their content, but just having like a ghost follower doesn't really help. But yeah, so I'm interested to hear that some people say that they unfollow whatever. There was different creators within this article that said their experiences from when they start showing a love interest or someone that they're seeing. And so very strong points, very strong evidence within this article that is something happening differently in the mindset of women, and not just younger women, but all women. And one of the concepts that I liked within this article was that it is okay to have this conversation now, because it is actually more normal and typical of failing at the dating process. And so, like, someone saying that they don't have a boyfriend, that they can't find somebody, that they can't start their family, things like that, it's not so much like, oh, I feel so bad for you. It's more like, girl, go live your life, like, go fuck it up, you know what I'm saying, like, go be free. And which goes into the next point I'm going to make. They actually said, there is a part of me that would also feel guilty for sharing my partner constantly, especially when we know the dating landscape is really bad at the moment. I wouldn't want to be boastful, more beige. Okay. And then another person has said that they know that, like, within their content, when they get into a relationship, that the content becomes more beige and watered down online when they're in a relationship. And they say that they felt that way about other people that are their favorite creators, myself included. So I think it's kind of like that. The biggest thing that I feel like I was missing in the beginning of the article was the argument that some people do not post and they're cropping out people because, not that they feel embarrassed by these people, but it's more so like competition with women. And let's be honest, we know this whole sentiment around older women in your family just being like, watch your man, don't let any other women like be around him, be friends with him like that, like, because she'll take your man. I honestly think that's most of it. And in the article somewhere, it did say that plenty of women told me that they were in fact superstitious. Some feared the evil eye, a belief that their happy relationship would spark a jealousy so strong in other people that it could end the relationship. But not only could it end the relationship, I think that sometimes women, we say things and we're not completely upfront about it. I think you're slightly insinuating there that competition of someone else even knowing who that guy is and being able to maybe take him away from you because they are jealous of you is a possibility. And that's really what I wanted more out of this article. And I feel like that's why some women don't watch either. And let's just be honest, you guys. I think some women also don't watch, or they don't want to watch that type of content, is because if you are failing at something, I mean, we kind of just went over that quote. If you are failing at something and you're not getting it, you always kind of wonder, like, I don't want to say like you're like zealous or jealous or bitter of someone. You could be genuinely happy for someone, but you could also be saying like, when is it gonna be my time? And watching someone else kind of be happy, like, I can only give you so much. I'm happy for you, and then I'm tired of seeing like you talk about this with this you know and I feel like I hate how people use the word jealousy like so loosely. So like I feel like that's something else. I don't really feel like that's like strong jealousy, like malice jealousy. I think that's like, I wanted to mention before I get off is that there's this misconception that like you'll end up alone in a spinster with all these cats. And at the end of the article, it kind of ties up that that's celebrated now, and the stereotypes and the sadness and the hopelessness, or this sense of something's missing or lost, life without a man, that's dry. That's a very dried up, embarrassing and sad way of thinking about life. And we didn't throw that in the trash, with, I think, Gen Z and millennials, young millennials. Yeah, I think we started throwing all that in the trash. And so now everybody's just picking up and also throwing it in the trash too. And people celebrate being a spinster, a rich auntie, all these things that they try to make it seem like if you're a heterosexual woman, you're doomed to end up such ways.
Having a boyfriend embarrassing now. I want to talk about this Vogue article coming from an African household. And I don't want to speak for every immigrant family or every African family. I cannot tell you how many African women will graduate from college, will have their dream job and have the most incredible career, accomplish the most amazing thing, be incredible contributing members of society, and their parents will still tell them they're a failure if they're not married. Growing up as a young girl, I was considered one of the bad kids simply because marriage was the last thing on my mind, and I, for one, always said I never wanted to get married. I still remember this moment very vividly. I was very young, maybe 6, and you know how like African men, which is very disgusting if you ask me, African uncles would joke about you being their bride, or like, oh, there's my little wife, etc., etc. And I stormed up and I said, I never want to be a wife. I don't like wives. It doesn't look fun. I remember how much I got scolded for saying such thing. It was almost like I said a cuss word. It was almost like I went and cast out my family and told them I wanted to embarrass them. When I read this article, I smiled. As a mom raising 2 daughters, I smiled from ear to ear because this is it. This is the society I want to raise my kids in. I want my daughters to know that marriage, having a boyfriend, or being partnered is the least interesting thing about them. I am happily married. I love being married. Not only am I in love with my husband, I think love is a beautiful thing. But do I think being married and having a husband is the most interesting thing about me? No. Do I think being a mom and having children is my biggest accomplishment? No, because there's so much more to me than just marriage. I cannot imagine where some of our African women would be if they weren't in the shackles of just needing to be married. If they weren't in the shackles of just needing to be partnered, because that is all they think they can be.
Everybody's like discussing whether or not having a boyfriend is embarrassing. And honestly, I do think having a boyfriend is embarrassing because a lot of y'all are sleeping next to your biggest haters. A lot of y'all are dating men who do not fucking like you at all, who actually hate you. And you may not be able to see it, but like a lot of us can fucking see it. Like I see certain men in their relationships and I'm like, this man don't fucking like her. This man do not fucking like her. And as a girl who dated a man who fucking hated me, I see the signs. I know when a man doesn't like you and he fucking hates you. It's embarrassing as because then you're like, wow, you really are going to do me like this. And a lot of girls will lower their standards just to have a boyfriend. Like a lot of y'all are like so far out of your boyfriend's league, it's not even funny. But y'all are almost like too afraid to be single that you would date a loser for the sake of being in a relationship. I don't understand it because like some of y'all are incredible and could do so much better. And then I'm like, why are you dating this man? Especially when the man has publicly embarrassed you. Like when if he cheated on you and everybody knew about it or whatever it was, he publicly embarrassed you and you continue to be with him. I'm like, girl, get a fucking grip. Your boyfriend is out here tarnishing your reputation, which is so crazy to me. So yes, I think having a boyfriend is embarrassing at this day and age. Now, not all boyfriends are embarrassing. There are a few people, who I, see their boyfriends. I'm like, okay, he's a good one because he worships the ground you walk on. So yes, he's a good one. But a lot of y'all are dating your biggest haters. A lot of y'all are sleeping next to your biggest haters.
Having a boyfriend is embarrassing if you chose the wrong partner. And this is coming from somebody who is literally coming up on their 5-year anniversary with their partner next week. This conversation is literally not about hating men, it's about accountability. It's about realizing that the man is not the prize. This also isn't about women realizing that we're self-sufficient. Like we've always had that power. It's just not settling or trading that for proximity and companionship, again, with a man. I always tell my friends and family that I am a girl with a boyfriend. I am not a girlfriend because I am a whole individual with my own life, my own friends, my own hobbies, my own experiences. And so does my boyfriend. We are two whole individuals who are coming together because we add value into each other's lives. I am fully self-sufficient. I do not need a man in any aspect. I can solely provide for myself. So I run a straight program and I knew before getting into a relationship, if you did not add an immense amount of value and peace and prosperity to my life, I wasn't going to be in a relationship. If your boyfriend is not making things lighter and making them heavier, you shouldn't be in a relationship. And I feel like that's where people are kind of missing the mark. They're like, I don't know what Vogue's talking about. Like, I'm happy here, yada, yada, yada. Just like, if your boyfriend is a good boyfriend, he's a good boyfriend. But what we're not going to do is settle for the bare minimum out of the sake of having a boyfriend. Because again, it's not anything to be put on a pedestal now. And we all know people who are in relationships who just settle for the bare minimum because they don't want to be alone or, that's just how guys are. And it's just like, that's not the case. My world does not revolve around him. It's aligned with him. So yeah, having a boyfriend can be embarrassing, especially when they diminish you, deplete your value, and contribute nothing to your life. All I'm saying is you can coexist with individuality, but only when both parties are adding value.
Why the Vogue opinion piece is having a boyfriend embarrassing now, not feminist. She talks how before women were rewarded for their ability to find and keep a man, and that being single was a cautionary tale. And that now it's the opposite. Finding and keeping a man is embarrassing, and that now being single is a new cool girl thing. Which to me, it just shows that women can never win. Why does women's value always revolve around men? Whether you have a man, whether you don't have a man, this is just the same repackaged BS from always. When you're single, it's a cautionary tale. When you're happy in the relationship, it's a cautionary tale. Women can never win. It's obvious that having a boyfriend should never be the most interesting thing about you, but as Gen Z, I feel like we've all...
According to Vogue, having a boyfriend is embarrassing, and here's my story on why I think this is true. I was in the fitting room at Zara, and this man was being told by his girlfriend, I think you should wear this, you should wear that. He goes, can you stop? Now, I felt embarrassed for her. I understand everybody's in a relationship for different reasons. There's trauma, there's whatever, I get that. However, I felt embarrassed for her because that is her partner, that's who she chooses. And what I think Vogue was saying was that, yes, having a boyfriend is embarrassing if you attach yourself to someone who is pulling you down, who is not good for you. It speaks about you, It's like when somebody shows up to a professional event with a wrinkled ass shirt, unbuttoned and untucked, you're kind of just looking at them like, appearance does mean something. And in this case, having a man that devalues you does mean something. And it's embarrassing. In the most big brother, loving, kind, respectful way, it is embarrassing. And you should not. I, as a man, get secondhand embarrassment when a girl decides to stay with a man like that. There's some development things there. There's some like loving yourself. There's some maturing that needs to be done for sure, because you don't just let somebody do that to you if you're healed and in a good place, So yes, to what Vogue said, having a boyfriend is embarrassing if they are not valuing you and not being a good partner to you.
I read Chanté Joseph's Vogue article, "Is Having a Boyfriend Now Embarrassing?" It's a really good read, honestly. I think it's like a nice little study about human behavior and the way that women are changing their dating patterns now. And I really like the conversation that's being had around it because they're calling out the weird-ass pick-me's that make having a boyfriend their whole personality, and also deconstructing and trying to leave behind the traditional heterosexual relationship, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like women don't have to be in relationships that they don't want to be in anymore. Like back in the day, they had to stay with their men because they had to do that in order to survive, in order to be able to have access to money and funds and things like that. Women can just up and leave now, and that's just cool as hell, bro. And it's really cool to me that women are leaving behind these traditional gender roles, because like not everybody is meant to be a traditional woman or traditional man, and you trying to force yourself into that kind of way of living is not healthy for you, and it only creates insecurity within yourself, because like if you're unable to fulfill these kind of gender roles, it's going to lead to you feeling like you're less of a man or less than a woman. And then on the other hand, it's great for me because I hate a woman that makes being a girlfriend or wanting to be a wife her whole personality, because there's nothing else going on in her life. And to me, I want my relationship to go as like us being our own separate people. We just happen to be dating. We just happen to be together. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel like we both have our own autonomy and we both can like go out and do things without each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause to me, that's the best kind of relationship. And if you disagree, that's up to you. Like that live your life how you want to live it. But like for me, I need that sense of self. I don't need to feel like I have to be around you all the time. But yeah, man, shout out Chanté Joseph. She did her thing. She was really in her bag. Her pen was going crazy with this shit.
AI, can you explain why boyfriends are embarrassing in your most feminist raging voice?
Oh, absolutely. Because boyfriend is just the cute little title men gave themselves so they could hoard your body, waste your prime years, and call it love, while offering no commitment, no investment, no vision. He wants access to your soul like it's Netflix while you cook for him, clean for him, pause your dreams, and for what? So he can say, I was here first?
I think it's really embarrassing because our ancestors didn't fight for us to just give our power away to a man with a title of boyfriend, which means absolutely nothing. Our grandmothers don't say you're single till you're married for nothing. Marriage isn't about love, it's about making sure a man has some skin in the game. Why are we having boyfriends? You're a free, independent woman who owns her bank account.
Preach. Our grandmothers knew. They didn't survive wars, oppression, and entire generations of silencing just so we could hand our power over to a man who bought us dinner 3 times and called it commitment. Boyfriend is a placeholder title with no legal weight, no spiritual substance, and no guarantee he won't ghost the second you get a dream bigger than his ego. You're an empress with a bank account, a voice, a mission. Why are we playing house with someone who's not even on the deed? Let him invest fully, or let him watch you build the empire he thought you'd abandon for date night.
And also there was a video of a man who's like, yeah, I'm at work. All I want is to come home and for you to smell nice and bring me some food. And every woman in the comment section is like, yeah, because he's like, you don't have to do anything. They don't care that you waste your life. They don't care. They're building their career. They come home to food and an access to a body. They're using you. They're wasting your potential.
They don't care if your dreams collect dust while they chase theirs. They're not saying you don't have to do anything out of love. They're saying it because it benefits them. They want a stress-free, responsibility-free setup where they work their job, then come home to a warm plate, a pretty smell, and guaranteed physical access. Meanwhile, your potential, purpose, and power are rotting under the weight of being easy to love. It's not partnership, it's passive servitude dressed up as romance. And the saddest part? They frame it like it's a gift.
And they're getting women to do it without a contract that basically makes sure that if they act up or waste your time, that you're going to get some money or compensation out of it. If it were up to me, I would say, I'm single. Whoever's going to pay my bills and buy me the most stuff gets to hang around me sometimes. That's about it. Focus on yourself and build your life, because a man wants to rob you of your time and your energy and call it love and call it being a girlfriend.
Yes, they figured out how to get access to women. Time, body, energy, nurturing devotion, without offering protection, provision, or long-term commitment in return. The title boyfriend is literally a loophole. No contract, no consequences. No skin in the game, just unlimited access until you wise up. If you're smart, you treat dating like they treat business. Who's investing the most in your future? Who's contributing to your vision?
Never mind the fact that they think being sarcastic and nagging you and thinking your business is silly, your content creation is cute. They're just constantly jabbing at you in small ways. You're just never going to be good enough. You're just constantly criticized. He'll put his friends and his family before you. You got to deal with all of that for what? For free? To get a title of girlfriend? Not worth it. Not cute.
Exactly for what? For access to your sacred time, energy, creativity, and body, while he chips away at your confidence with backhanded comments and constant critique. You become his emotional punching bag and personal assistant, all under the illusion of love. Meanwhile, your dreams get labeled cute, your content gets mocked, and somehow you're the one who's too sensitive. And the worst part? You're doing it for free. No protection, no provision, no power, just vibes and validation crumbs.
Let's be fair here. What does the title of girlfriend actually get you? Is there any kind of is there any kind of legally binding things that being a girlfriend gets you, or there's got to be something, or is it just a really cute label? I have a degree, I have a car title,
Nope. Legally, the title of girlfriend gets you nothing. 0 rights, no financial protection, no legal standing, no guaranteed access if he's in the hospital, no shared assets, no automatic support if he wastes 5 years of your life. It's literally just a cute little label with no contract, no security, and no compensation. It's like agreeing to a full-time job with no pay, no benefits, and no promise of promotion. Just the hope that he won't leave you when he's not feeling it anymore. So yeah, it's time we stop romanticizing titles that don't come with receipts.
Yes, having a boyfriend now is embarrassing because the jig is up. I saw that article in the Cut that questions if having a boyfriend now is embarrassing. And in my opinion, yes, it is, because we now know what it takes to maintain these long-term relationships with these men. We now know what it takes to even engage with them in a casual way at this point. It was assumed in the past that you would be taken care of, that they would be providing for you, that over time that the love would just grow. And now we know that's not what happens. Now we know when women get into these relationships, there is something that they're sacrificing, something, a part of themselves that they are completely abandoning and giving up in order to be in companionship with this male. No matter how much he likes you, no matter how much he worships you, no matter how much.
Everyone's talking about Lily Allen's new album, and that Vogue article is having a boyfriend embarrassing now. And I read the article this morning and I listened to the album last night, and I think that where women take the conversation is what can be revolutionary, because I think women right now are barely grappling with maybe getting out of the cage that we're in. And essentially the cage is y'all acknowledging that men's behavior can be bad sometimes, it's fucking annoying, and resenting them for that behavior, but y'all still deep inside believe that these men are entitled to doing that. They're entitled to it. And women are conditioned to forgive. They're conditioned to settle. Lily Allen's new album, it's fine. I wouldn't listen to it again, but the whole thing was about that man. And that's fine. This is a situation she just went through, is still going through, but y'all are calling it her lemonade. And I, first of all, want y'all to stop comparing people to Beyonce and Beyonce's work when they don't want that. Lily Allen does not like Beyonce. She does not respect Beyonce. So just stop with that line. Even with Beyonce, we live in a timeline where Beyonce put out Lemonade and she still stayed with that man, right? So women, even the billionaires, women everywhere, are conditioned to stay and settle and forgive, right? And Lily Allen's new album, she's divorced, that's great, but y'all settle for men over and over and over, and you forgive over and over and over. These men are giving you indication that they're about to play with you, but you're conditioned as women to settle until it's literally so embarrassing that you don't have a choice but to divorce, but to leave a lot of the times, right? Many women won't still. Like, these men are trying to get y'all to leave them. They do not like you, they hate you. And they think they're entitled to brutality towards you, because it's like, damn, she hates herself, I hate her, I hate myself. I'm just gonna, like, I just can't stop treating her like, right? And women stay with this because y'all literally believe that men, oh, that's just men. This is just men. They're entitled to doing that, which is sad, because men who are normal, they're pedestalized, they're rewarded, right? They're exalted. And it's just like, no, you, even as a good man, are not entitled to treating people like shit. You're not entitled to cruelty. You're not entitled to brutality. You're not entitled to humiliating anybody. And that's kind of what the Vogue article touched on, right? Is having a boyfriend embarrassing? I think right now we're in times where women still want the social reward that comes from being chosen, but they understand that you start posting that man and that's what you posted. People didn't follow you for that. People didn't sign up for that. Who you're fucking at the time should be the least interesting thing about you, right? But no, it's not embarrassing to have a boyfriend. It's embarrassing when y'all settle. I come across many women who have boyfriends, many women that I like, that I enjoy, right? And they say they have a boyfriend. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm assuming he's a good person like you. I'm assuming he's enjoyable the way you are. And sometimes these men are. They're great. And I'm like, yes, amazing couple. But other times I find out that, wow, he treats her like shit. Wow, she puts up with certain things. I'll love to say birds of a feather flock together. That's when I start to understand, okay, maybe she's not the person I thought she was. She's putting up with certain things. I don't know their relationship, and now I don't know if she puts up with certain things because she does certain things to that man, and he's putting up with certain things too, right? It's not embarrassing to have a boyfriend. It's not embarrassing to want love. It's not embarrassing to want happiness and companionship. That happens to be romantic. It's not. It's embarrassing when y'all settle. It's embarrassing when y'all can't leave. I think that album was interesting. I wouldn't listen to it again, but that, along with this Vogue article, I think it's sparking up important conversation. But where women choose to take this conversation is important, because a lot of y'all could just sit there and, yeah, let's just stay resentful of men for that behavior, but y'all don't do anything about it because deep down you're resentful of them partaking in it, but you do think that they're entitled to that behavior, and they're not. And that's where I want the conversation to go. I want women to start understanding that men aren't entitled to treating you like shit. They're not entitled to cheating. They're not entitled to, even in the beginning of the relationships, hinting that this is what they could do. No. Women need to start abandoning situations with men quicker. Because right now we're talking about, the cheater discourse, and I wouldn't be friends with my friend who cheated on her boyfriend. Okay, so you're able to abandon women who cheat, but y'all still hold so much room for men who cheat and partake in bad behavior because you think men are entitled to that. And you're so willing to drop your girlfriends for that behavior because you think women are not entitled to it.
The reason why so many men and women are heavily invested in making sure that women continue to pursue romantic relationships with men is because the moment women withdraw their energy from men, it would be the end of this world. It would be the end of this world. This entire world, every single institution, every society is male-centric. Religion, male worshiping. Capitalism, male-centric. Even gun culture in the United States, that is male-centric. And so the moment that women opt out, that's kind of like a bunch of people opting out of a currency system. Let's say you have $1 in your pocket. If nobody is recognizing the value of that dollar, then that dollar is now worthless. You can't be the only one that values that dollar, and you want to trade that dollar, because nobody's going to want to trade with you if they don't recognize that form of currency. And for women, being in a romantic relationship with a man is a form of currency. So a lot of women may not know the bigger picture, but they know that, hey, I can't be the only one that values men. How am I going to have any kind of currency? That kind of thing. And then with men, it's kind of like, if nobody values them, then how are they going to continue to be seen as valuable? Everybody is invested in making sure that there's a collective delusion when it comes to men and their value. Because it's kind of like a lottery situation. The more people you have playing the lottery, the bigger that money pot is going to get. So a lot of people don't have the sophisticated language or just kind of a big picture view of this to understand that this is what they're perpetuating when they try and encourage other people to, no, get back on the horse and try again. You can, whatever, like you can find your one and only and all of that. Like they're perpetuating this delusion. A lot of times they don't know that they're perpetuating it because there's this fear of this world ending. But ultimately, that's kind of what it comes down to. When you're a cog in a machine, a lot of times you don't know what the big picture is of the machine. You just know to keep doing your job. And a lot of people are just pulling that lever. A lot of women, they're at the casino, they're pulling the lever. They see you stop pulling the lever and they say, hey, what's wrong? You don't want to pull the lever anymore? You say, hey, I think I'm going to go home. I don't want to do this anymore. I haven't won. I'm not winning. I keep losing money. This is just not fun to me. I'm going to go home. And it's going to make them question things. They're sitting at the lever all by themselves. Ain't nobody in the casino no more. It's going to give them time to think. And that's dangerous. That is very, very dangerous. That and they're, although they think that they're having a good time getting them little dopamine hits, they're not winning, they're losing, and they're just giving the casino more money and helping the casino just continue to make money off of them and their many, many failures. So ultimately, everybody is opted into this system, this game where we all have to be opted in for the game to work. We all have to be opted into this currency system. We all have to believe that men are valuable and that men should be the center of everybody's relationship. We all have to believe that the man is God. We all have to believe that the man is money. Even if he don't have no money. That's why so many men complain about, oh, women are going to take my money. They don't even have money. The representation of them is money. A lot of men go on the basis of their potential. I could make a lot of money. You'll see, I'll get rich. So the moment people start questioning that value, the moment people say, it could be valuable to you, that's fine. You can deal with that type of currency, but I'm not going to deal in that currency. This is not my form of fun. I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, that's dangerous because that kind of thought process can spread. And it's different than being male averse, because that's another thing that I see women say. I don't go anywhere that men are, and I don't do anything that men do, and I don't blah blah. No. We're talking about not caring. That's different, because hating men is energy, and they like that too. That they'll take that too. But deciding that you don't want to be in a romantic relationship with men, you don't want to give your energy, your extracurricular energy, because energy is valuable. It is extremely valuable. Time is valuable. You don't want to give your time. You don't want to give your energy to a man. Houston, we have a problem. So on a smaller scale, a lot of people don't know that. They might just think, oh, I feel sad for this person, they're giving up. And it's just like, no, that person is opting out. And that is quite different from giving up, because opting out comes from a place of power. It comes from knowing you have a choice and knowing that others know that you have a choice, seeing the game for what it is and deciding that you do not want to play it. And every institution, every single social construct that we have relies on a lot of people collectively opting in. So the moment somebody says, I don't have to do this, we don't have to do this. Yeah, That's very dangerous.
By now, you've probably seen or heard about this viral British Vogue article called Is Having a Boyfriend Embarrassing Now by Chanté Joseph, and I'm going to tell you why some women believe that it is. I think the more some women reveal via social media what their life is actually like behind closed doors with some of these men, it is revealed that a lot of them are living in a humiliation ritual. Like the video that went viral not that long ago about the woman who was like, I'm going to see how many seconds it takes for my husband to come in when he hears the shower turn on for him to want to join me. And this man emerges like a warden in a prison, looking at her like, how dare you think about the shower without me? And women are like, why would I put up with that for the sake of having a man? Or the men that will ask women questions like, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I ask for a sandwich, are you going to get up and make it? You have all these women saying, yes, I would. These women don't understand. This is how you get and keep a man. And women are saying, why are y'all jumping through these hoops in order to be in partnership? You have these men who swear they're father of the year, but they know nothing about their own children. Hair color, eye color, birthday. They don't know about the child's peanut allergy. The reason why they think that they're doing so well is because she's always signing his name on the card, literally and figuratively. You have these women giving up their dreams of being a doctor, a lawyer, a ballerina, whatever it is, just so this man can live his dream. These women cook, clean, do all the sacrificing, are an acrobat in the bedroom just to still get a hey girly text from some other woman because that man is cheating. Women are constantly humiliating themselves publicly for these men, and women are like, what are y'all doing all this for? Is the juice even worth the squeeze? It's obvious that women make men's life better, but it's becoming harder to see how men make women's life better.
I'm at home and I just got done reading Is Having a Boyfriend Embarrassing? And as a single woman living alone in her 30s, I have thoughts. First of all, I felt like for a long time when I would be in social settings and I would say like, yeah, I'm 33 and I'm single, I would always get these like sad puppy eyes, like poor her, she doesn't have a boyfriend. So I'm so excited that society is finally switching the narrative. And the reason why I'm so excited is not because I think having a boyfriend is embarrassing. I don't think that at all. In fact, I think in a world filled with hate, seeing love is actually refreshing and a beautiful thing every once in a while. But I think it's so exciting because women are finally waking up to the idea that having a boyfriend is basically the least interesting thing about you. Someone who is a great example of this statement is actually Aaliyah's face. That girl has a boyfriend and you will never know. In fact, sometimes I freaking forget because homegirl has so many things going on that her boyfriend is like the least important thing about her, the least interesting thing about her. She is going to Pilates, she's practicing her Spanish, she's running marathons, she's hanging out with her friends, she's taking solo dates, she's traveling somewhere. That girl has so much going on that her boyfriend is not a pedestal, and therefore it's not embarrassing for her to have a boyfriend, if that makes sense. Having a boyfriend isn't embarrassing, it's boring, and it should be. It should be for each and every woman. Having a boyfriend should be the least interesting, most boring, most yawning thing about you. And if it is, you're in the right relationship. Where single women come into play when it comes to this article is that I hope that we are finally going to be looked at with eyes of excitement and not eyes of like pity and sadness when we say that we are single, because the reality is single women are interesting. We are so interesting. We're filled with happiness, with joy. We are filled with hobbies and goals and everything in between. And I believe we can learn so much from single women or women decentering men in general. Where this article scares me is when I think of all the single women out there who have been single for years and have done all the solo dates and the traveling and everything, have hit all the goals and want love, because I'm one of those women. I've been single for over 2 years and I'm not afraid to say my name is Celeste and I want someone to share my life with. But that's the thing, is that at my age, I don't want a boyfriend, I want a partner. And I don't think women should be shamed for wanting that, because it's a perfectly normal thing to want. It's perfectly okay to want to share a life with someone, a partner, a husband. A boyfriend to me at this age feels more temporary, so that's why I say like boyfriend or husband. But that also doesn't mean that that woman or me should be disregarded, because there's still plenty of other amazing things about women who are out here dating and want love. It's just a bonus. Love is just a bonus. A boyfriend, a partner, it's all just a bonus, but it's not everything. And so shout out to the writer. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And that's all I got to say. Bye.
End of the video. Please tell me your thoughts. What did you like, or maybe you dislike something about this video? Get in the comments, start a little chat, and I'll see you on the next one.